They warned me about boys like him. If you see Leon Adebayo, avoid eye contact. Avoid breathing. Avoid existing near him. That's what my roommate, Zainab, whispered the morning I resumed school. But the day I met him, I wasn't thinking about campus devils or reputations. I was thinking about my mother's inhaler, the 300 Nigerian nairas food in my bag, and how I needed this degree more than oxygen. So when I entered the packed lecture hall, clutching my old notebook, I didn't even notice him. Not until my bag strap snapped. Books spilled. My pen rolled under a chair. The room went silent. And then, I heard it, a low chuckle. Smooth. Mocking. Too deep to ignore. I turned. He was leaning back in his seat like the world belonged to him. A black do-rag. Sharp jaw. Piercing eyes. Expensive perfume you can smell from a distance. Girls around him giggling like he paid their school fees. Leon freakin' Adebayo. The devil in designer clothes. He looked at me and smirked. First day, and you're already falling apart, he said loud enough for everyone to hear. You sure you're in the right department? Laughter exploded. Heat crawled up my neck, but I refused to bow. I knelt to pick my things when my notebook slipped again. Before I touched it, Leon nudged it toward me with his shoe. Careful, he said, voice like sin. Wouldn't want your village energy breaking more things. The devil poked me first. I'd planned to ignore him. Truly. But something inside me snapped. I stood, grabbed the notebook, faced him, and said quietly, but your shoe is from the same village you're talking about. Fake designer, right? The entire hall went dead still. Leon sat up. His smile vanished. His boys muttered, "Omo, this girl get mined." For the first time since I walked in, his eyes held mine properly. Dark. Sharp. Alive with a challenge. Then, the lecturer entered. Everyone scrambled to settle. I took the only empty seat available, unfortunately, the one directly in front of him. Throughout the lecture, I could feel his stare burning holes into the back of my head. Every time I shifted, his leg brushed the back of my chair. Every time I wrote, he leaned forward like he was reading my notes. By the end of class, my heart was racing so badly, I almost forgot to breathe. When the bell went off, I packed my books quickly and rushed out. But I hadn't taken 3 steps when a hand caught my wrist, not harsh, just firm enough to make me stop. I turned slowly. Leon was standing behind me. No smile, no laughter, just a look I didn't understand. You talk too much for someone that shakes when she's angry, he said quietly. I swallowed. You insult too much for someone that thinks he's a god. He stared at me, then looked down at my broken bag strap. He said nothing else. Didn't apologize. Didn't smirk. Didn't laugh. But for the second time today, he surprised me. He moved past me, brushed my shoulder lightly, and said, "I'll see you tomorrow, Dara." I swear my name had never sounded that soft in my life. And as I watched him walk away with the entire hallway parting for him, one thing became painfully clear. The campus devil had noticed me. And he wasn't planning to stop. The next morning, I left the hostel early, too early just to avoid him. Zainab asked why I was rushing. I lied and said I wanted to get good seats. Truth? I didn't want another scene. I didn't want those eyes on me again. I didn't want to think about how softly he said my name yesterday. But life had other plans. When I reached the faculty building, a black Benz was parked outside, engine humming. The windows were tinted, but as soon as I passed, they slowly rolled down. Leon. Do-rag on today. Fresh cut. White t-shirt hugging his chest. Gold chain glinting under the morning sun. He looked at me like he'd been waiting. "You're early," he said calmly. My heart jumped. "And you're everywhere." A small smile tugged at his mouth. "You walked past without greeting me." "I didn't know we greet campus devils now." He laughed. Actually laughed. Deep. Warm. Not mocking like yesterday. "Get in. I'll drop you." "I'm walking." "Your legs will fall off before you reach the hall." I stepped back. "My legs, my problem." He raised a brow, amused. He liked the resistance. "Suit yourself, Dara." He said my name again, soft, like he was testing the taste of it. I walked off quickly, breathing too fast, trying to calm my chest. But 10 minutes later, when I entered the lecture hall, he was already there. And he was sitting in my row. The only empty seat was beside him. My spirit left my body. His eyes lifted slowly as I approached, and the corner of his mouth lifted like he enjoyed watching me panic. "You're late," he murmured. "I'm not sitting there." "Why not?" Because I'm not." He tapped the empty chair with one finger. "Sit." I hated that my body obeyed before my brain did. I dropped into the seat stiffly, refusing to look at him. But Leon had no such discipline. The moment I opened my notebook, he leaned in. "So your bag is fixed," he whispered. I blinked. "How did you?" "I saw you carrying it. How else?" But something about the way he said it made my skin prickle. Like he'd watched me from somewhere I didn't notice. I pretended to focus on the lecturer, but all I could feel was his presence. Warm, close, distracting. Halfway through the class, a guy from another department, light-skinned, handsome, smelling like too much cologne, walked past and smiled at me. A friendly, harmless smile. Leon's reaction was instant.
His jaw tightened.
His fingers drummed once on the desk. His eyes followed the guy until he sat. Then he leaned closer to me, voice low. "You know him?"
"No."
"Then why is he smiling at you?" I turned to him slowly. "Why do you care?" He didn't answer. He didn't blink. He just stared, intense, unreadable, before he finally muttered, "I don't like rubbish." Was I the rubbish? Or the guy? Before I could ask, the lecturer called him out for being distracted. "Mr. Adebayo, is something more interesting than my class?" Leon didn't look away from me as he answered, "Not really, sir." The whole class turned to see who he was staring at. Their eyes landed on me. Whispers started instantly. I sank into my seat, mortified. When class ended, I tried to escape, but Leon blocked my path. "You're angry," he said softly. "I don't like being stared at by the whole class because of you." "Then stop running from me." I froze. He stepped closer, not touching me, but close enough that his breath brushed my cheek. "I'm not trying to stress you, Dara," he said quietly. "I just notice you. Too much. And I don't know why." My chest tightened without permission. Before I found words, his friends called him from the corridor. He turned to go, then looked back at me, eyes softer than I'd ever seen. "Wait for me after class tomorrow," he said. "I want to show you something." Then he walked away, leaving my heart beating where my body stood. I tried not to think about it. About him telling me to wait for him. About the way his voice dropped lower than his reputation. About the softness in his eyes that didn't match the stories people whispered. But when the next day came, I still found myself dressing a little neater, brushing my hair a little smoother, checking my reflection twice. Not for him. Never for him. Just coincidentally. I got to class early again, but of course, he was there first. Not with his boys. Not laughing loudly. Not commanding the attention of the whole world. He sat alone, hoodie up, elbows on his knees, head down like he'd been waiting a while. The moment I walked in, he lifted his eyes. He didn't smile. He didn't smirk.
He softened.
"I thought you wouldn't come," he said quietly. "I didn't come for you. I lied." He nodded like he understood the lie completely, then tapped the seat beside him. I sat without arguing this time, and for a moment the hall felt too quiet.
But the peace didn't last.
2 girls from another department passed by, whispering loudly on purpose. "That scholarship girl thinks she's special now." Imagine forming for Leon as if he can ever look at her twice. I kept my eyes on my notebook, pretending not to hear. But Leon heard. And Leon reacted. "Hey!" His voice sliced across the hall. The girls froze. His jaw clenched, so tight it ticked. "She's not talking to you," he said, voice low but lethal. "So, why are you talking to her?" The girls stuttered. We weren't." Leon stood. The hall went silent. "You weren't what?" he said, taking one slow step forward. Bold enough to say it in front of me. They rushed away instantly. He sat back down, breathing hard like he was holding back more words. I didn't know what to say, so I whispered. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did," he said without hesitation. "Why?" He looked at me. Really looked. Like he wanted to give the truth, but didn't trust himself with it yet. Before he could answer, the lecturer walked in, and the moment snapped. The rest of the class passed quietly, shockingly so. Leon didn't tease, didn't disturb me, didn't even pretend not to stare. He just stayed close. When class ended, he touched my wrist lightly. Come. I haven't said I'm following you. He stared like he could see straight through me. You came today. That's enough. I didn't argue. He led me out of the building, down the hallway, past the faculty garden, all the way to the back of the school where students rarely went. There, under a mango tree, sat a small wooden bench and a blue notebook. My breath caught. My sister used to sit here, he said quietly, picking up the notebook. Before she died. The world tilted. I'd never seen him like this. No arrogance. No hardness. No devil. Just a boy, young, grieving, hiding softness behind sharp edges. She loved drawing people, he continued, flipping open the notebook. Faces. Strangers. Students. Anyone she thought had a story. He turned a page, and my breath stopped. It was a sketch of me. Me, sitting under a tree, hugging my bag to my chest. Me, long before I ever met Leon. She drew this 2 years ago, he whispered. Said you looked lonely but strong. My throat tightened painfully. I didn't even know her, I said shakily. I know, he murmured. But when I saw you that first day, something felt familiar. Like I'd seen you before. Like she wanted me to see you. Silence fell heavy between us. This was no longer the campus devil. This was a boy who'd been hurting long before I entered the picture. I touched the notebook gently. She was talented. She liked you, he said softly. Even before I knew your name. My heart squeezed. Then he looked up, eyes darker, softer, almost vulnerable. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I don't tell people things. But with you, it doesn't feel dangerous. My chest tightened. Too much. Too fast. Before I could respond, someone shouted his name from afar. A group of his friends approached, loud and chaotic. Leon's expression shifted instantly. Walls back up, softness sealed away. He leaned close, voice low enough only I could hear. Don't tell anyone about this place. I nodded. And Dara, I looked at him. Thank you for coming. Then he walked away with his boys, leaving me under the tree with a heart beating faster than it should. For a moment I wondered if I imagined everything. But then I noticed. The blue notebook was no longer in his hand.
He had left it with me.
I didn't touch the blue notebook for 2 days. Not because I didn't want to, but because everything inside it felt too personal, too sacred, too heavy for someone like me to hold. Yet every night, I found myself running my fingers over the cover, wondering why Leon trusted me with something so precious. By the 3rd day, my mind couldn't take it anymore. I opened it again in the quiet corner of the library. Sketches. So many sketches. Laughing faces. Students sleeping on benches. Hands holding textbooks. A lecturer arguing with a cleaner. Then I reached the last page. The sketch of me. Under it in faint pencil writing. She looks like someone who loves to quietly. My chest tightened. I didn't realize tears were blurring my eyes until one dropped on the page. You shouldn't cry in public. People will think I broke your heart. I jerked around. Leon stood behind me, hands in his pockets, hoodie hanging low, eyes searching my face. How did you know I was here? I whispered. He shrugged. I always know where you are. Too fast. Too honest. I quickly closed the notebook. Why did she draw me? She didn't know me. She noticed things. She noticed you. He exhaled softly. I guess I'm noticing you now, too. My heart fluttered, until the librarian shouted, Dara, there's someone waiting for you outside. I frowned. Who? But when I stepped outside and saw my uncle's face, my blood froze instantly.
Come home now, he snapped.
Your mother, she collapsed again. Everything inside me collapsed too. I ran past Leon. Didn't look at him. Didn't think. The world blurred. I reached home breathless, terrified, heart shaking. My mother was on the bed, trying to sit up, weak and pale. Mummy, what happened? I held her hands, whispering, begging her to breathe slower. It's the clinic walla again, she murmured. The court letter came today. They still want us to pay for damages we didn't cause. My stomach dropped. Which clinic? Her eyes watered. The one your father worked in before he died. The one that was destroyed. Destroyed. By a fire. By negligence. By a wealthy company that never apologized. My heart hammered painfully. Mummy, who owned the company? She hesitated, then whispered the name. Adebayo Group. My breath stopped. Adebayo. Leon Adebayo. His father. The man whose carelessness destroyed the clinic. The man who ruined our life. The man whose mistakes turned us into this. Struggling, drowning, fighting for every breath. I felt the world tilt. All the softness Leon had shown me, all the gentleness, all the quiet moments under the mango tree, shattered into pieces. My mother kept talking, but I didn't hear a word. I stood, numb, trembling, unable to breathe. When I stepped outside to catch myself, someone grabbed my arm. Firm.
Warm.
Leon. Dara, what happened? You ran away from school. You're crying.
Talk to me.
I stared at him, at the boy whose touch made my heart race, whose eyes softened only for me, whose voice had become the safest sound I knew. And then I remembered his surname. I pulled my arm away sharply. Why didn't you tell me? I whispered. His brows furrowed. Tell you what? That your father destroyed my mother's clinic, I said, voice cracking. That your family almost ruined us. That the reason we're suffering is because of your name. He froze. Like someone stabbed him. The air turned cold. Dara, he swallowed hard. I didn't know. I don't believe you. I swear. Leon, the reason my mother is sick, the reason we struggle, the reason I'm fighting everything alone stems from something your father did. And you expect me to just sit with you under trees and pretend like your life didn't crush mine?
He took a step back.
Eyes shaking, jaw clenching painfully. I'm not my father, he whispered, but you're his son. Silence.
Sharp.
Suffocating. He looked broken, completely shattered, like no insult had ever cut him this deep. Dara, please, he said quietly, voice trembling for the first time. Don't walk away from me. My throat tightened. But I did. I walked away. Not because I wanted to, but because my heart didn't know how to hold softness and pain at the same time. Leon didn't follow me. For the first time since I met him, the campus devil didn't chase. He just stood there in the fading sunlight, shoulders shaking, fists clenched, eyes dark with something that looked like fear. Fear of losing the first girl he ever cared about. For a week, Leon stayed away. No Bens waiting outside. No eyes following me in class. No quiet footsteps trailing me in the hallway. No voice saying my name like it was something fragile. It was as if he vanished. And I should have been relieved. I told myself I wanted the distance. I told myself his silence meant peace. But every time the classroom door opened, my heart still jumped. Every time someone laughed in the hallway, I still turned. Every time a black car passed, I still froze. I hated that my chest missed him. I hated it even more that his absence hurt more than his presence ever did. On the 8th day, he returned. He walked into the lecture hall slowly, wearing all black, hood up, eyes fixed on the floor. The boys he usually moved with stayed away. The noise died the moment his shoes hit the tiles. He looked different. Sharper. Colder. Bruised somehow. His eyes lifted. They met mine. And something in his chest cracked visibly. He didn't sit beside me.
He didn't speak.
He just kept looking like he was studying the parts of me he wasn't sure he still had permission to touch. I stayed frozen. After class, I rushed out before he could approach, but destiny didn't let me get far. A sleek, silver Lexus pulled up beside me. A woman stepped out.
Tall.
Light-skinned.
Polished.
Designer bag, French acrylic nails, waist snatched like money wasn't an issue. She smelled expensive, like someone who'd never tasted struggle a day in her life. Excuse me, she said sweetly, smiling. You're Dara, right? My stomach twisted. Yes, I'm Michelle. She extended her hand. Leon's fiancé. Everything inside me stopped. Fiancé? Fiancé? She continued smiling. Bright, perfect, rehearsed. I've heard so much about you. Leon talks about you a lot. Says you're the girl who stands up to him. She laughed. Cute, really. My throat turned to dust. He didn't tell you? She asked, tilting her head. We've been promised each other since childhood. Our parents signed the engagement contract when we were 15. The wedding date hasn't been set yet, but we're moving forward soon. My heart dropped like someone unplugged it. Leon walked out of the building that moment. His whole body stiffened when he saw us. Michelle, what are you doing? He growled. She walked over, looped her hand around his arm, leaned on him like she owned him. I'm introducing myself to your friend, she chuckled. What's wrong with that? Leon's jaw flexed, eyes dark with anger. I told you to wait in the car. And miss the chance to meet the girl that's making you behave strangely? Never. He snapped. Michelle, enough. Students around began whispering, phones sliding out, eyes watching the scene escalate. Michelle ignored all of it. She smiled at me, sweet, poisonous. You're brave, she told me. But this? You can't win. Leon and I are the same. We're from the same world. You aren't. Something cracked inside me. Something prideful, something painful, something too familiar. Before I could react, Leon tore his arm away and stepped between us. Dara, he said, voice low, raw, almost pleading. Please don't listen to her. She's lying. Michelle scoffed. Lying? Oh, sweetheart, tell her who signed the engagement papers. Tell her how your father invited my family last night. Tell her the wedding is being pushed forward. Leon's fists tightened. His chest rose and fell too fast. I don't want to marry you, he said flatly. Michelle blinked. Excuse me? I told my father yesterday, he said, louder this time. I'm not marrying you. I'm not marrying someone I don't love. Gasps rippled across the crowd. My breath caught. Michelle stared at him like he slapped her. Then slowly, she turned her gaze to me, cold, assessing. This is because of her, isn't it? Leon didn't deny it. That silence was louder than a confession. Michelle laughed once, sharp, bitter, and tears welled in her eyes. You're throwing away everything for this girl? Leon turned to me. His voice dropped. Soft. Broken. Honest in a way that made my heart shake. I don't care about everything, he whispered. I care about you. My stomach twisted. Everything I tried to bury came rushing back. But your father, Michelle snapped. He will destroy her family even more. You think refusing me will make him spare them? Leon's face fell. That was the moment he remembered. Remembered the clinic. Remembered the lawsuit. Remembered the damage tied to his surname. He stepped back from me, as if realizing he was poison. I swallowed hard. Leon don't. But he already understood. His family's war with mine. The engagement. The past. The pain we didn't choose. He rubbed a shaky hand over his face. I'm trying, he whispered. But everything I touch becomes a disaster. Michelle scoffed, wiping her tears. Exactly. So leave her alone. Leon looked at me one more time, eyes full of something I didn't want to name. I'll fix it, he murmured. I don't know how, but I'll fix everything. Then he walked away. Not to Michelle. Not to anyone. Just away. Like a boy who finally realized he was fighting a war on too many fronts. My heart broke for him. But even more painfully, it broke for us. 4 days after the confrontation, campus felt heavier. Every hallway, every corner, every seat in class that Leon didn't occupy beside me. His absence wasn't quiet. It was loud, like an echo that refused to stop ringing. Everyone whispered. About Michelle. About the engagement.
About me.
About him choosing me. Some people laughed behind my back. Some warned me to stay away from Adebayo family drama. Some called me stupid for believing the campus devil could ever love anyone. But none of those voices mattered as much as his silence. On the fourth morning, my mother woke me gently. Dara, someone came to see me yesterday. I sat up fast.
Who?
She hesitated, then whispered. A young man. He said his name is Leon. My entire body froze. He came with papers, she continued softly. Real legal papers. He said his family's company was responsible for the damage to the clinic years ago, and he was here to correct it. My breath caught. He paid everything the court requested, she said. All the damages. All the medical bills. Even the debts your father was accused of owing. He apologized, Dara. He apologized with tears in his eyes. My chest tightened painfully. He said he didn't expect you to forgive him, but he wanted to fix what was broken before it ruined more lives. I covered my mouth with both hands. This boy, this arrogant devil, this unpredictable storm, he fixed the one wound I believed no one on earth could ever heal. He left without seeing you, my mother added. He said he didn't want to force anything, but he asked me to tell you something. My heartbeat stumbled. What? She smiled sadly. He said, tell her I love her, but she doesn't have to love me back. I just want her to have peace. I didn't realize I was crying until the tears hit my blanket. I went to school that day with a heart I couldn't organize. Forgiveness.
Pain.
Hope. Fear. Everything fought inside me. I found him behind the faculty building, alone under the mango tree, knees bent, hoodie up, head bowed like he was praying. He didn't hear me approach. He looked thinner, tired, like he hadn't slept in days. Leon, I whispered. His head jerked up immediately. His eyes widened, shock first, then relief so deep it almost broke me. He stood slowly, hands shaking slightly. You're here, he breathed. I should be the one saying that. I whispered. You disappeared. He looked away, voice low. I thought leaving you alone was the only way to protect you. It wasn't. He swallowed hard, chest rising and falling quickly. I know. I didn't want you to feel tied to me because of what I fixed. I don't. His eyes lifted to mine, dark, searching, hopeful in the smallest way. I stepped closer. Leon, what you did for my mother, for me, nobody has ever done something like that. I didn't do it for gratitude, he said quickly. I did it because I couldn't breathe knowing my family hurt you. I breathed shakily. He was so close now I could hear the tremble in his breathing. Leon, I said softly. You could have told me. I was scared, he admitted. Scared you'd look at me the way you looked at my father. Scared you'd see me as the reason your life broke. I took another step. We were only inches apart. But you're not your father, I whispered. His breath caught. I lifted the blue notebook, the one he left with me, close to his chest. You left this with me. Why? His voice cracked. Because I wanted you to have a part of me, even if you never wanted me. My heart twisted. I reached up, touched his jaw gently, the first time I ever touched him on purpose. He froze. Not in fear. In disbelief. You did something my father didn't do, I whispered. You made things right. His eyes softened so intensely it felt like warmth breaking open inside me. I forgive you, I said quietly. Not because of what you paid for, but because you've changed. Because you tried. He closed his eyes for a long second. When he opened them again, they weren't the eyes of a devil anymore. They were the eyes of a boy finally allowed to feel. He stepped closer, voice dropping to a whisper. Dara, I need you to tell me to stop, because if I touch you right now, I won't be able to pretend I'm not in love with you. My breath left me completely. I didn't tell him to stop. I didn't move away. I whispered, Leon, it's okay. He exhaled shakily, lifted his hand slowly, gently, like he was afraid I'd vanish. His fingertips brushed my cheek first, soft, careful. Then his palm cupped my face with a tenderness that made my knees weaken. He leaned his forehead against mine. I've never felt this before, he murmured. I don't know how to do it, but I want to learn. With you. A tear slid down my cheek. He wiped it with his thumb. And I want you, I whispered. Not the version the school sees. The version under this tree. His breath hitched. Then slowly, so slowly, he pulled me into a kiss. Not a hungry one, not a reckless one, but a soft, trembling, grateful kiss. The kind that felt like a promise, like healing, like learning how to love for the very first time. When we finally pulled apart, he rested his forehead against mine again. "Dara," he whispered, voice cracking, "thank you for teaching me how to love." I smiled through the tears. "You taught me to." Under the mango tree, with the wind soft, with the world quiet, with two broken pasts finally touching, the campus devil who never cared about anyone finally became a boy who loved deeply, quietly, and honestly. And I fell for him completely.